Me now. All right, well, let's get started. In the next 28 minutes, we want to get a start on building leaders. And if you're wondering why we want to talk about leaders, is in network marketing, there's really one measure of success, and that is leaders. You can measure somebody's success by the number of leaders they have in their group. Distributors, as you know, will come and go. They'll use the money to pay off a credit card or get distracted, get discouraged, like leaves in the wind, come and go. But long term is what we want to do is build leaders. There's an old saying that goes something like this. We build leaders and make them successful. That's our business. Everything else is kind of alongside. So to give you an idea of the difference in leaders, 50 years ago, I got started network marketing and I had a friend named John. Still a friend, as a matter of fact. We started about the same time. We were crossline. And John had some success. He started making sales and stuff and moving forward. In the first 2 years, he had reasonable success. Me, I had zero success. So he moves away to Washington State, not hear from him for almost 30 years. 30 years, we find each other, we meet each other, and guess what he had been doing the last 30 years? Every year, he joined a new company. And every year, he started again from scratch. He never built any leaders. All the time, he started over and over again from scratch. Now during those 30 years, after my 2-year start of really ridiculous, no results, I had built, several leaders. And I could probably travel and not worry, where he would always be trying to build a new group. So the thing we want to do is build leaders. Leaders are everything in network marketing. And remember that everybody else, we're just a side note, kind of a temporary thing for them because they have something else on their mind. Now, what is a leader? There's lots of ways to describe leaders. We'll get to that in a moment. Well, where am I going to find these leaders? I need to, build these leaders. Well, there's 2 cool places. That's it. So if you want to get some leaders on your team, there's only 2 places to go. So are you ready? Here we are. Place number 1. We can steal them. Yep. We go to somebody else's organization, tell them it's no good, our deal is better, and we steal them. And they say, well, I'm not really sure. And we say, well, we'll give you €5 more than what you're getting now. Well, if I'm doing the same amount of work and €5 more, sure, I'll come. So we can literally steal leaders from other people's organizations. Now here's a question. You can just type in your comments in the chat if you want. Does anybody see a downside with stealing somebody else's leaders? So what would the downside be? Well, if they left to join us for €5, what's the odds of them leaving tomorrow to join somebody who offers them €6? €1 more. So what we've done is attracted a temporary leader. And yes, we'll have a leader for a moment, but it'll go. There's no loyalty, no connection. And we're really back starting from zero, like my friend John. So that's one way. And it does work. People go around their whole career trying to steal leaders. And every day and every year, it's more work, trying to replace those that just came through for a moment. Now, the other way is to find people who are not leaders and teach them how to do it. Now, I want you to imagine somebody who's not a leader. They don't know what they're doing. They're saying the wrong things. They don't know how to start. They don't know exactly the things they should be doing. But we teach them how to do it. And they say, wow, it changed my life. Now I have an income. Now I'm a leader. Now I have a really good income. And I'm going to be a bit more loyal because you actually changed my life. So the second way, which is to find people who are not leaders, teach them how to be a leader is probably the better way. So if you're out there looking for leaders, you say, well, wait a minute, how am I going to find them? Well, I will mention your future leaders don't even look like leaders. They look something totally different. They haven't even learned how to do it yet. So they don't know the difference between a leader, not leader, and the basic things. So what we're going to do is find people who are not leaders, and we have to say, which ones can we work with? Now, if you worked with people before in management or a network marketing leader, you know that maybe people don't perform the way they should. That's pretty obvious, right? So here's a little leadership trick that is used by management and network marketing and everybody who kind of knows a little bit about leading people. And that is, there's only two reasons people don't perform. Number one, they won't do it, WON''T. And number two, they can't do it. So before we panic and start explaining to people what to do or why they should do this, we need to find out, first of all, what's holding them back. Number one, can't do it. That's a mindset thing. You say, oh, that mindset thing. Yeah, so if there's something in their mind like from their past or confidence issue, or I'm an introvert and can't do anything and I'll never be successful, that's a can't do mental thing. Won't do, the second one is I want to do it, but I don't have the skills to pull it off. So I'm a pilot. And before I became a pilot, I wanted to a whole lot, but I couldn't fly until I actually learned the skills of how to actually fly the plane. So there's only two reasons people in our team are not performing. You say, well, I have some people who are not on the call today. Well, is it because they won't get on the call? Because it's not important to them? Or because they can't get on the call because we didn't teach them why it's important, didn't give them the skills of how to get on the call, didn't teach them that habit? Interesting. So that little trick right there will save you a lot of time, because if they won't do it and all we do is teach them more skills that they won't do, well, we're wasting our time. So ask yourself, are my team members not performing because they won't do it? It's a mental thing, or they can't do it. So you say, okay, that's good, but I need to get some people started right now. So where am I going to look for these people? Well, when we look for people now who are not leaders, they're not going to look like leaders. They're going to look like the misfits of society, or people that are maybe have social problems, or people that try hard and not get things done. We are going to look for non-leaders and say, okay, I got it. So I'll go find somebody, but who should I find? Well, if you think about the characteristics, if somebody's not a leader, remember the won't do and the can't do? Here's my question. You can answer it in the chat here. If you went out looking for somebody to become a potential leader on your team, would you look for somebody with skills? Or would you look for somebody who didn't have skills but had a desire? So just type in your thoughts. Would you look for somebody with a desire, or would you look for somebody with skills? Yeah, both. That'd be great. Yes. Oh, wait, they might already be a leader if they had both. So here is what I found in my career. And that is, when you go out looking for people, I used to look for people with pretty high level skills. I'd say, hey, there's that bank vice president. He knows everybody, and he has a lot of influence with people. He knows how to talk to people. He's a great salesman. And if he decides to do my business, what's going to happen? Well, he says, I'm pretty good at this. I have confidence. I have skills. I can do many things. So I'll try this network marketing. And if it doesn't pay off in 30 days or 60 days, that's okay. I have skills to do other things. I can buy a sandwich franchise or something like that. And I found that people with skills already, but didn't have that deep down desire, really couldn't last through the building period. So I've never had one of those work. But hey, maybe in year 51 I will. What I have had work is finding people with absolutely no skills and taught them the skills, but they had a deep burning desire to do this. So when you're out there looking for people, what we're going to look for is people who want a change in their life, but obviously don't have the skills or the ability to do it. And that's why they're going to need us. And we provide the skills, and there's the bonding where they become a long-term leader because we change their life. So I'll show you an easy way to find these people. So all you have to do is, let's say I'm going to, I don't know, Birmingham. And, I don't know anybody in Birmingham. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to go to the local clerk at one of the stores, and at least they'll talk to me. They have to be polite, because if they're rude to me, they get fired. And I would say, I'm just curious, could you do me a favor? And the clerk would always say, oh, yes, I'm a polite person, because if I'm impolite, I get fired. So yes, I'm happy to do you a favor if I could. And say, I am looking for. Now, who am I looking for a prospect here to help build into a leader? I'm looking for people who have a full-time job and a part-time job and would like to get rid of one of those jobs. Do you know anybody like that? Now, here's what's interesting about that phrase. I'm looking for people with a full-time job. Well, that means they're responsible. And they also have a part-time job. That means they're hungry for money. They need more money. They're willing to work for it. Would like to get rid of one of those jobs, which means they want to have a better lifestyle and a better life. This is the perfect prospect for me. So they'll say, yes, my sister, she has a full-time job and a part-time job, and she'd love to get rid of one of those so she had more time with the kids. I says, great, give me your sister's number. Why do you want her number? Oh, so I could call her. Why do you want to call her? To help her get rid of one of her jobs. Oh, okay, here's your number. Hi, sis, I just talked to your sister. I was telling your sister I'm looking for people with a full-time job and a part-time job. And who would like to get rid of one of those jobs? Don't keep it for life. Do you know anybody like that? And she mentioned you. Is that true? Yeah. Oh, great. Then let's talk. That wasn't so hard, was it? So if I do that with the clerk and she knows somebody, great. If she doesn't know anybody, she says, oh, I'm sorry, I'd like to help you, but I just don't know anybody. But here's the next question. What is the third possible answer? What about me? And that's a great answer, isn't it? So if you're going to start working with somebody, at least have somebody that you can work with that has what you need, which is a strong desire to change. So what we're looking for is not skills. We're looking for a desire to change. You say, but I have some team members now. Maybe one of them could be good. I said, all right. So far we learned how to find them from scratch, which is not that hard just by asking. But you say, well, what about my current team members? Well, just think back to when they joined. So we're talking to them on Zoom or sitting in their living room or wherever it may be. When they joined, they signed up. What did they say? Now, there's three possibilities what they could say. They could say, number one, I will try. Now, in the chat here, if somebody tells you, I will try, what does that mean? Like, I will try to be at the meeting today. What does that mean? Who here could translate that into reality? When somebody says, I will try to make it, or I'll try to be there, what does that mean to you and I? Probably not. They won't be there. Yeah, that's kind of what it means, right? So if somebody says, I will try, that means the first little tiny reason that can get in the way will get in the way. Like I heard there's a new cat video on Facebook. Oh, I can't go. So if somebody says, I will try, that's the lowest level of commitment, and we'll still sign them up because, hey, you know, things could change in their life, correct? But that is such a low starting level. Horrible. But it's better than nothing, so we take them as a distributor. So just listen to people say, oh, I will try. Now here's level 2. And most people will fall into level 2. When they join, they will say, I will do my best. So listen to that, however they put it into words. But if they say, I will do my best, that's awesome. I'd take that all day long. And that means, yeah, they know there's going to be some challenges come up, but they're going to do their best to overcome those challenges. Yeah, they want to go to that special meeting because Derek is coming to London, but their car breaks down. But they say, you know what? I'm going to do my best. I'm going to take a train to be there. So if somebody says, I'll do my best, awesome. Give yourself a high five. Now, there is a third level. And this is the one I look for before I start training somebody to become a leader. And that is, I will do whatever it takes. Now, if somebody says, I'll do whatever it takes. Life is pretty good. That means no matter how bad the obstacle is, they're going to figure a way to jump over it, go around it, ignore it, move on. They're going to do it. And they're going to need that because to learn to be a leader, there is a lot of things to learn. And if they're not fully committed, they'll get tired before they actually get to that spot. So what you and I are looking for is somebody who says, I will do whatever it takes. I want to change my life. This is my chance. I can't be like a bank vice president and just go anywhere. This is my only chance. And when you are people's only chance and they say, I'll do whatever it takes, magic happens. My very best leader of all time was one of the most anti-social people you can imagine. And he was a very red personality that turned people off. But he said, I don't have any other really good opportunity like this, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it work. And he did. So don't look at where people are now. Look to where they want to be. The very second person I signed up in my group was a lady who was 46 years old, 12 children, lived on government support. Her husband was disabled. So if you look at where she was then, you say, wow, that's nobody could be a leader. But she became a leader because she wanted to be somewhere else to change the life of her family. So what we're looking for is people say, I will do whatever it takes. And these are the people that you and I are going to invest our time in to become a leader. Now, how do you invest the time in them? And why? Let me tell you a little story about my friend, Richard Brooke. Richard owned a company many, many years ago, owned it for about 30 years before he sold and retired. And his company sold toothpaste. You know, toothpaste was a really good antioxidant, disinfectant, whatever. And it's network marketing. And there was a lot of dentists that liked it and some other people, kind of an expensive toothpaste. And he tells a story. He says, I'm running the company here, and all of a sudden we run out of toothpaste. Our supplier said, yeah, not yet, not yet, not yet. And we totally ran out of toothpaste, and it was like 62% of our sales. So most of their sales was toothpaste. They had a few vitamins and skincare, but it's almost all toothpaste. Now, I'm going to ask you, if you owned a company and it went out of inventory of your number one selling product, would that be sort of a crisis? No, it was. He says, man, this is terrible. And we're out of it. And people started calling, and our distributors couldn't have any, our leaders couldn't have any, our customers didn't have any. It was terrible. And finally, like 90 days later, we get our first shipment back in. He says, I breathe a deep sigh of relief, but here's what happened. About a week later, I start getting phone calls. And people are saying, well, is this toothpaste supposed to burn your mouth? This is supposed to make the inside of your mouse skin start to peel? Why is there a burning sensation? He starts getting these different phone calls. And he quickly realized there's something wrong with the toothpaste. And what it was is he was burning the mouths of his best customers, his leaders, his distributors, because there was something wrong. So he calls the manufacturer and says, so what's the deal? And manufacturer says, well, we ran out of natural cinnamon, so we used artificial cinnamon. And Richard said, so artificial cinnamon, would that burn the inside of their mouth and make their skin peel? Oh, yeah, but at least you have your toothpaste. He goes, what? So not only has he burned everybody's mouth, he now has to do this big recall and apologize to everybody. And they were out of toothpaste for 9 months. Now, at the end of 9 months, what happened? Here's what he asked me. He said, so Big Al, what do you think happened at the end of 9 months? I says, I don't know. It's probably pretty ugly. He said, we didn't lose a single leader. I go, really? He says, leaders are everything, but we didn't lose a single leader. And he says, our company is a leadership development company disguised as a toothpaste company. Our whole strategy for all of our career is to build people and make them successful into leaders. And that's why I like what Derek does, is he realizes that you have book of the month, and you should read a book that's going to help you with your business and start personal development so you have leaders like Richard did. This is one of the things to teach people how to become a leader. Now, teaching people how to become a leader, the step-by-step, how to teach them how to think, what to think, how to react in these situations, that's all pretty straightforward. You can just, I think, read this book for £5 in the UK. And what's better yet is if you say, well, I need some people to work on, I need to start closing some more people, right there. Just download that free mini course. It'll show you how to close people. So go to bigalbooks.com/closing. And there's a free miniature course to teach you how to close people. So you have a lot of people to choose from to teach to become leaders. Leaders are readers. There's a guy named Charles Tremendous Jones who always said, leaders are readers. And he's built his entire brand and his business based upon books, getting people to read books. I love books. Obviously, I've written 40 some books just on network marketing, not counting the other topics. But what happens is we can change people. Now, you say, I'm going to teach people to become leaders. We have, I don't know, say 5 minutes here. Let me give you an idea of how we're going to start teaching them to become a leader. The number one thing is to teach them how to think. In every situation, there's two ways of thinking. And what we're going to do is teach people there's two ways of thinking, both are legitimate. Both ways of thinking are going to have a certain result. So what you do is look at the result you want and choose that way of thinking. Now, I'll do a quick example. In the UK, they're football crazy. So let's say Manchester United is battling out with Arsenal. So they're at the stadium and the game's tied 0-0 and 5 seconds to go. An Arsenal guy pulls down the pants of the ref. The ref goes down to pull his pants back up. And during that time, Arsenal picks up the ball, walks over to the Manchester goalie, punches the goalie in the nose and throws the ball in the net. And when the ref pulls up his pants, says, "Oh, they must have scored. Arsenal wins." Now, that's an event, isn't it? And our future is full of events. Now, when that event happens, there's two ways of thinking about it. Way number one, if you are Arsenal, you say, we won. We finally beat Manchester United. It's the greatest game ever in the history of the world. Let's go home and drink beer. What's the other way of looking at it? If you happen to be a Manchester U fan, you say, this is the most terrible thing in the world. Arsenal cheated. They'll be known as cheaters forever. This is terrible. We're depressed. Let's go home and drink beer. one event, two totally different ways of thinking about it. You say, oh, okay. Yeah, I understand. So when something bad happens in our business, or somebody says no, or somebody quits, or there's two ways of thinking about it. Choose the result you want, and then you know which way to think. Okay. So let's look at this another way. The people from Arsenal, they might say, this is terrible that we cheated. Everybody's going to call us cheaters. They're going to kick us out of the league. We won't be in the Premier League anymore. And I don't know, because we won, that means we'll never get new players because they think these players are good and we need better new people on, and our coach isn't that good. We need to replace him. And now that we won, they're going to raise the ticket prices next year and charge us more for beer. And this is terrible. So if you're from Arsenal, there's actually two ways you could think about this. If you're from Manchester U, they could say, this is the greatest thing that ever happened. We lose. Now we're going to get rid of our coach. We're going to get brand new players. And now we have a real chance of winning the premiership. And in every situation, good or bad, there's two ways of thinking about that. So one of the first lessons we teach our new potential leader is don't become a victim to what happened. Don't say, oh, I'm going to feel good or bad based upon this event. No. There's two ways of thinking about it. So the company changed the compensation plan. Is there two ways of thinking about it? Yeah, you could say this is terrible. Now I have an excuse why I didn't do well. And now I can't do well because they changed everything on me. Or you could also say, I bet the company probably did it for a reason, a good reason. So it's probably going to mean a stronger company. And this is great. So every situation has two ways of thinking. Once you adjust how they look at things, so they're no longer being a victim of events, now we can start teaching some real hardcore skills. Because leadership isn't about recruiting. It isn't about all these other things they talk about. It's about hardcore skills that they learn to do. So people look at them and say, that's my leader. That's who I'm going to follow. And I have confidence because of how they look at things. Anyway, that's 2 minutes. All right. I got about 1 minute here to wrap things up because I know you have the book part coming, which is going to be awesome. Let me try this. If you can, just use this script. I'm looking for people who have a full-time job and a part-time job. I'd like to get rid of one of those jobs. If you know anybody like it. And when you talk to these people, they say, they're all open-minded. They all want a better life. They don't want to work two jobs the rest of their life. What a great way to start. So that little script is just a good way to start. Second of all, don't look at where people are. Look if they have a strong desire for change in their life. Number 3, if you're going to build a leader, you better start teaching them the skills of what they have to do. If you don't have the full list of skills to teach, is start by reading, I don't know how to part. There we go, like that. Start by reading one of the books on leadership. I've written 3 of them, but this one is a pretty good one to start with. And most people say, actually, it was voted Book of the Year in 2015 by my office staff. Okay. But if you want to learn how to get people to become leaders, this is the first one most network marketing leaders start with. So there's a book for you to read. There's a script for you to use. And now it's time to get on to your current book review. And with that, I'm going to say I'll see a lot of you in the free closing course, where we're going to learn how to close people on demand instantly with no rejection. So make sure you take that. And I'm going to turn it over to Derek. And thanks for inviting me today.